And the next speaker I would like to invite here is Antti, Head of Artificial Intelligence at Financial Group Finland. Antti, you're welcome.
Thank you. Do you hear me loud and clear?
Yes, perfectly.
Great. So good morning, everybody, and welcome to talk about implementing AI in banks. In the next 15 minutes, I'm going to highlight OP Financial Group AI transformation journey from the past 3 years. And my name is Antti Myllymäki, and most of my non-Finnish speaking friends call me as Ant, that small but strong animal. And during the last 20 years, I've been mostly building and managing organizations focusing to big scale information management, advanced analytics, and for the last 6 years, machine learning. I've been working especially with gaming companies, high-tech manufacturing companies, oil and gas companies, as well as financial sector. I spent some 11 years at Deloitte, 3 years at Efficode, which is a big data and DevOps company. And I've been on board at OP for a bit over 3 years now. And I'm currently head of Artificial Intelligence Center of Excellence at OP Financial Group. And we exist for 2 reasons. First being we help our businesses and business tribes to identify use cases for AI. And the second thing is that we make them real. So let's start with the throwback to 2016. Most of you who were on board at that time, back then, very few companies outside gaming had first-hand experience about business value of AI. The key messages were very clear. You all remember that data scientists will be the next rock stars. Big data and machine learning will disrupt all industries and especially financial industry. And 3, AI will steal most of white-collar work from the developed countries. The expectations for financial sector were about new business opportunities and value streams, improvements to operational efficiency, and better R&D as well. Now, we all know that most valuable companies for 2020 are data-oriented ones. And the financial industry is very heavy on data. However, currently on the most valuable company list, the highest rating bank is JP Morgan Chase on the 12th position. So some of you might wonder why banks are not dominating this most valuable company list. Well, to be honest, I think that financial industry, we have a history of having data, high data capital, but low data assets. And by data capital, I mean the amount of data, quality of data, and business usability of the data. And we have a lot of that, no problem there. And by data assets, I mean creating high-value data-intensive services and products that will make both customer and employee life a bit easier. And I think that we are not alone. In fact, most of the other industries as well are struggling with the same thing and primarily using data and information to support human decision-making. We all know Power BI, Cognos, Business Intelligence, QuickSight, etc., etc. And there is nothing wrong with reporting, but it's all aimed to support employee decision-making. And that makes it not so relevant to our customers. So for me, the AI is about utilizing data capital to build new data assets. It's about making data-intensive services happen, and it's about improving our competitive position in the value chain. So for me, it's crucial that whatever you plan to do, don't do machine learning just to do machine learning. And I think that the financial industry is successful on this AI journey, we cannot be any more criticized about being low on the data assets. And maybe then banks will also hit top 10 on the most valuable company list as well. So when starting the AI journey and getting things rolling, we had 6 key questions to consider. First one being approach. Should we start with the strategy or should we start with the use cases? And at OP, we chose use cases first, as creating the strategy or vision without no first-hand experience about AI wouldn't have made too much sense for us. Someone may think that you must have a clear goal when starting this kind of journey to know where you are aiming and where you want to go. But for OP, having the visibility from 6 to 9 months ahead at the time, it was just enough. And we didn't want to spend 3 or 4 months and spend, 3 or 400,000 euros working with consultants to create the AI strategy. And that proved us pretty good choice for us. The funding, second thing, how to balance between centralized funding and business funding. Now, the challenge here is that AI value logic is very clear. If you understand customers better, will you be able to sell them more? If you understand customers better, will you be able to develop better products and services to them? You say both. You say yes to both questions. Yes and yes. But how much more will you sell? How much better products you will develop? Nobody knows. It's very hard to quantify. And that's why we chose the fund the first 2 years of the AI initiative from the project. So the business didn't have to take too much risk when investing and working with us to make these use cases happen. Well, obviously the use cases, opportunities, how to kind of find the balance between quantity of the use cases, quality of the use cases, etc., etc. Should you go after 6 or 60 projects or products in the first 2 years? So that is something to think about, and I will talk you through that in the next slide. Now about the data. In banks there are typically hundreds of sources and data warehouses. So what is the role of the data scientist or data engineer? Should you teach your data scientist to grab the data across the operating systems, or are you planning to find data engineers to do that? Who will program the APIs to the high volume use cases? So are you looking for kind of all around data scientist or just mathematically capable data scientist? This is really something that you have to think and you have to choose by yourself. Then the delivery capability. How to start when the AI journey if you have no data scientist? On the other hand, how to hire the data scientist if you have no interesting use cases for them to work with? And in OP case, using consultants to complement our own capability for the first year and a half turned out to be a very, very good choice. And well, the last but not least, tools and technologies, on-premise, cloud, multi-cloud. When I started 3 years ago, we had SAS, and we still utilize SAS SaaS for customer insight. And for the first year, we did the development both to Azure, both to AWS, and also chatbots in the IBM Watson. But after a first year or so, we soon realized that we cannot do the maintenance in 3 different, or in fact 4 different environments. And as a result, we decided to go almost all AWS. And obviously, it was a bit painful because we had to migrate the content and the use cases that we had done to Azure, to AWS. But after that, it has been a very good choice for us. And well, so what did these decisions mean in practice? We went pretty big scale and invested almost 10 million euros for the program, both in 2017 and 2018. And late 2017, we had some 30 use cases under our belt, and late 2018, we had some 70 use cases done and live. And during the journey, we grow our internal capability in terms of the data scientists from 5 to 30 data scientists. And well, we started with Azure, AWS, Watson, and SAS. Nowadays are almost all AWS. And we also had to develop our own data scientist workspace for the data scientists to work with. So that is something good to keep in mind. If you want to utilize something ready on the market like Databricks, or if you have to go your own route in the cloud. Well, not going to go to the details to the use cases quite yet, but we launched several first time in OP use cases. Personal financial management at OP Mobile and OP.fi, property value estimations both to our customers and employees, 2 chatbots, first digital assistants, etc., etc. We ended the project phase late 2018, and I think it was the last minute to do that because businesses started already at that point to wonder that, yeah, those guys in AI, they are doing AI projects, and they already felt that there is a fine line or separation between their goals and AI goals. But as I said already, AI is not about doing AI just to do AI, but it's instead of developing and supporting our business goals. And from there, we have operated in a way that data scientists, they work nowadays in the tribe teams. And the work they are doing is priorities comes from the tribe product owner or the business product owner. And it can be that data scientist is the only data scientist in that tribe, or it might be that we have a small team or 2 or 3 or 5 working with there. But anyway, most of the data scientists are working in the tribes, and they have kind of dotted line through the chapter, through the data scientist chapter, to the kind of common artificial intelligence center of excellence. And that has proven us to be pretty good solution for us for the last 2 years, 2019 and 2020. Because nowadays, it has made this whole development much more real. The businesses see that, okay, so this is what the data scientists look like. This is how they work. This is the tools that they work with, and they can prioritize and learn. It has kind of gotten the artificial intelligence from something that takes place somewhere far away from the business in the project or program. It has made them very real for them. So that is something that I encourage basically everybody considering this same thing to do. Then about the use cases and their impact. Now, our hypothesis when starting the journey was that AI is mostly about sell side and R&D. And well, we have been really surprised about the impact on the operational efficiency. And we have realized almost 23 million euros benefits on operational efficiency only. And I mean, chatbots alone have saved us over 2 million euros. And this is pretty big difference from the expectation that we had. Because when we started, we thought that it's all about customer insight and selling more and developing better products and services. Well, it's also that, but it's also much more than just customer insight. And well, on the individual use cases, if you start from the bottom right-hand side, the group, unfortunately, and pardon for Finnish only, but this describes the customer insight profile for OP Financial Group. And we have basic customer lifetime value estimations. We have different propensities for NBOs, so next best offers, next best actions, things like that. We also estimate the income of the individuals now and 5 years from now. We estimate and understand their motives to purchase and buy different things. We also operate some 5 hospitals and the biggest insurance company in Finland with 40% of market share. So there, within the limitations of the GDPR, we are combining the data to estimate the propensities here. So roughly 50% of the campaigns, digital, physical, all channels that OP does is based on the profile for customer insight. I would like to see that being 100, but that is where we are right now. Now, on the top right-hand side, personal financial management. We launched that October 2019 to OP Mobile and OP.fi, and there we do basic use cases for personal financial management. We categorize the income and outcome, so the spending habits. We give tips how to improve your financial situation, not so much on the sales quite yet, but giving tips kind of peer groups. What people that look like you, that behave like you, what kind of choices they have made to improve the financial situation. So it's not about bank telling you what to do. It's about you being part of certain segment and learning from kind of colleagues or people that you don't know, learning what they have done. So some of us consider that as a good service. Well, chatbots, we have 2 chatbots responding 2020 roughly 1 million customer requests. And on a good week, the automation level can be up to 80%. And cumulative, they have saved us roughly 2 million euros and counting. And we also launched the first financial advisor or financial assistant earlier this year. And I think personally that will be a future for banking, digital customer service. The chatbots will stay there, but they don't develop too much. I think they are already pretty mature. Then on the left-hand side bottom, the property values. This is right in the core of the banking. We have to understand what is the value of the properties that we have as a more security as part of our mortgages. We report the value of those properties to European Central Bank 4 times a year, as most of you do as well. So that is on the core of our business. And we provide that also to public. Anybody can go to OP home pages and check out the property value estimation. And it is some roughly 60,000 users per month. And for me, that tells that people are using this kind of services to dream about where to move and where they can go next. And well, it's still on a pretty low scale compared to like personal financial management with over 700,000 unique users per month. But anyway, that is kind of example of the service that I didn't personally think that will be such a big hit in the end customers. And then, as said, we operate also life insurance, non-life insurance, and there obviously the goal has been to improve the operational efficiency on the claim handling process. And all the partners, response time, and all customer requests and customer service related to that. So there, I'd say that in a nutshell, what we are trying to do there is to kind of categorize the claims to different categories, and low risk claims pay within minutes, and high risk claims, do investigation, but do it only for the ones that really are risky from our perspective. And I think that if you now, well, we have done some 150 plus use cases. And if you take any thought leadership from McKinsey, Boston Consulting Group, or Accenture, you will probably notice that, yeah, the chatbots are pretty big hit. Personal financial management is a big hit in the financial industry. Customer insight is there to stay, obviously. And maybe you can notice something about the property values and process automation as well. But anyway, when you pick the most impactful ones, you will end up to the same list of use cases as potentially many of the others are from the industry are saying. So basically, that's all I wanted to say at this point, and let's take it from here in the panel discussion. Thank you so much.